Adam here with Brooksaw Antiques. Today we have this 1923 Underwood No.5 vintage desktop typewriter. I'm going to show you how to use the functions and make sure they all work. One of the most popular typewriters ever produced. This replaced the blind writer machines, which were Remington. They would type from underneath, so you'd have to feed the paper out to see what you wrote. So this one was the first visible writer and dominated the market for decades in the early 1900s. And typically, when you have one this old, it needs a lot of work, a lot of restoration is required for these. So this one has a new platen. It's got new foot mounts, new feeder rollers, and full clean. Also with the desktops, they don't have the case to keep them preserved over the years, so that's why you don't really see that many of these. They are still pretty common, but not necessarily in good shape. Up top is the adjustable paper guide. This helps you guide the page in straight. I'm going to line that up with the edge of the platen, which is the main roller that feeds the paper. And you also have these paper fingers to hold the page down. And I'm going to set the margins after I load the page and set those paper fingers. I just want them on the edges for maximum clearance. And if you load the page a little crooked, you can just use the paper release on the right side here where my right hand is, flip it down, and then you can straighten that page out. Just like that, flip it back to load it properly. So now we have the paper fingers on the edges. We can set the margins. So that right margin looks good. The left margin needs to be more to the edge. That looks pretty good. If you put them too close to the paper fingers, you will type over those and not print those characters. Once you hear the bell, you're near the end of the margin. Hit this line space, gets you back to the beginning, and skips 1, 2, or 3. Super smooth. Feels like a Cadillac. Big, powerful, and smooth. To switch it from single to double, you just flip the switch to the 2. It skips 2. One more, it skips 3. We're going to keep that on single for now and finish typing. As you can see, all the keys type nice and none of them skip or stick. I'll type a sentence in red on the next line and switch from black to red. There's a shifter on the right top here. Shift it to the right. There's a red indicator there. Let you know you're printing red ink. If you flip it to the left on the black indicator, it prints the top portion of the ribbon, which is black. When you have it on the red, it prints the bottom portion of the ribbon, which is red. And if you move it to the middle and then swap this lever on the back side, it will lock it in the middle, which is stencil. Means that you don't print any ink at all. You just leave a stencil for copying purposes. To unlock that stencil, move it to the right. And that's meant to not be easy to do because so you don't accidentally put it on stencil and wonder why your typewriter isn't printing. So we're going to move that for red. Extraordinarily smooth machine for how old it is, over 100 years old, and it's just absolutely smooth. One of the best of all time, still to this day. And the print looks really good. The red is a little bleedy. It's pretty common for these. That can be adjusted. I'm going to probably adjust that before this sells or after it sells. I just finished restoring this over 2 days, so it's just something that I don't want to get fully in depth with yet. And so if you're really picky about your red ink, this probably isn't the typewriter for you. Even if I can fix it, I'm not guaranteeing that. I just love the look of this. It's got the windows into the internal components. Beautiful typewriter. Blast from the past, like takes you back. The feel of it is just amazing. To pull the page out easy, we're going to use that paper release again. Flip it down, unlocks the rollers. The platen allowing you to pull the page out easier, load thicker paper like carbon copy or cardstock. Make sure you flip that back up before you load the next page or else it won't load correctly. Got a shift on each side and the shift lock is on the right side here. To clear that, you got to hit the opposite shift. Backspace on the left side, very smooth. We're going to move that color back to black. Tabulator key. This stops at manual set tabs in the back. It's got 2, 3, 4 tabs, and it just stops at each one of those. And you can set those by pulling them down and moving them to wherever you want on this rack. And these don't fall out, so that's good. A lot of the older machines will have tabs that you actually pull out, and those get lost all the time, so those don't ever get lost. Okay, that's it for the keyboard. We're going to do the right side here. This is your ribbon ratchet. If you pull it out, it'll pull the ribbon to the right. If you push it in like that, it'll pull the ribbon to the left. And you can also wind it up like this. Very cool. And on the left side, if you pull out the knob here, it disables the spacing when you turn the knob so you can get to an exact spot on the page. You push it in, you get the clicks. Each one of those clicks is one space. And the same concept with this lever here. You flip that up, it'll disable the spacing. You flip it back, you get the clicks. And a couple more things. So there's a margin release that's kind of limited. When you get to the end of the margin, it will block you. And if you use the margin release right there, it gives you like 4 or 5 more spaces, maybe 3 or 4 spaces before it blocks you for the final time and you can't get past that one. Also, this is the right margin release. So right now it's all the way on the edge, but if you had it closer to the middle like that and you wanted to get past that to all the way to the beginning, then you push this down like this and it allows you to get past that right margin. So that's what this does. And that is it. Now available on eBay, Etsy, or my new website, brooksawantiques.com.